just the intro, like the music for the song?
Right. So you are going whenever you are ready to start. You're recording.
Okay. I walked through the door with you. The air was cold, but sometime out it felt like home somehow. Now I left my scarf there at your sister's house, and you've still got it in your drawer even now. Hello, YouTube. This is Matthew. Hello, my name is Matthew. Hello, everybody. Are all 0 people watching. Welcome to a live stream on the Anti-Philosopher channel. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Talking Points with Matt and Matt. And today I want to ask a question. Should you change the world? And today I want to talk about philosophy as a way of life. Today we're going to talk about a topic I enjoy talking about a lot: decadence. And today we're gonna talk about the fact that Matthew doesn't exist. Oh, your sweet disposition and my wide-eyed gaze was singing in the car, getting lost upstate. Autumn leaves falling down like pieces into place, and I can picture it after all these days. And I know it's long gone, and that magic's not here no more. I might be okay, but I'm not fine at all. Ooh. 'Cause there we are again on that little town street. You almost ran a red 'cause you were looking over at me. One by my hair, I was there, I remember it all too well. Hello, YouTube. This is Matthew, and today I want to talk about identity. Now, the literature on this subject is mountainous, but I would like to begin with a passage from Leo Damrosch's Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Restless Genius. In chapter 22, Damrosch has some interesting things to say about how the 18th century has left us with a very conflicting relationship with identity. He contrasts Rousseau's view with his contemporaries, a rather obscure scientist and politician named Benjamin Franklin. When we talk about getting in touch with our true selves, or about being what we were meant to be, Damrosch wrote, we're talking like Jean-Jacques Rousseau. When we commit ourselves to careers or strive to be team players, we're living like Benjamin Franklin. To say it another way, Franklin's autobiography encourages readers to construct a public life, while Rousseau's Confessions challenges us to make a journey into the self. A public self and a private self. The self you show to the world versus the self you are when you're all alone or among your inner circle. I think we YouTubers and podcasters might think about this distinction a lot, because we are constantly deciding what to share with the world and what to keep to ourselves. What are we willing friends, family members, strangers, and future employers to see us do on camera? And what is distasteful or too embarrassing or just not our business to share? There is no one answer
to these various questions. But what I'm most interested in is how much a podcast or a YouTube video, or hell, a comment on Reddit or a picture on Facebook is an extension of your identity. And what is it with people's obsession with broadcasting themselves? And I use broadcast in a very literal sense. Why do we have to post pictures of our children on Instagram, upload songs by our cover bands to SoundCloud, and record yet another makeup tutorial for YouTube? If I ask myself that question, it has something to do with an acute sense of the impermanence of it all. Whether it was the best day or the worst day of your life. And whether it felt like a brief moment or like an eternity. It didn't last. It was the present, and then it became the past, and it will be the past forever. What is even more trippy is thinking in some moment that what you're currently experiencing will be a past memory someday. The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, an excellent YouTube channel you should check out if you haven't, identifies this feeling as déjà vu, a French phrase which translates to seen as soon as, or seen from this point forward. I've had this experience a lot, probably because I spend a good deal of my time brooding on the past and imagining possible futures. And at some point, you feel like someone slipped psychedelics in your morning coffee, because any sense of a unitary self evaporates. You are many selves across time, itself an illusionary concept. And what's left when you strip all the artifice away is experience. But then we're back to the same problem, because if the self is just experience, we're still left with the impermanence of experience, and therefore the impermanence of self. So social media for me is a way of attempting to avoid dealing with lost time. If I can watch a video of me from 2 weeks ago, or 5 months ago, or 2 years ago, is time truly lost? Well, yes and no. At this point between my two channels, I have uploaded 137 videos. That is, at the time of recording, 78 episodes of Beyond Talking Points, 8 episodes of The Philosopher's Guide to the Apocalypse, 44 YouTube videos, and 1 extra live stream. If I were to drop dead tomorrow, these would still be available. And so a part of me would be preserved for as long as YouTube and the various podcasting platforms exist. But in another sense, the time is still lost, because audio and video only capture a small portion of your experience. What is not preserved, and this might be the most important thing, is consciousness. Or more specifically, your consciousness. The irony is that even now, I don't have access to my grandfather's consciousness, or my best friend's consciousness, or my ex-girlfriend's consciousness. They are very much alive to me, but a fundamental feature of their experience is blocked from me. And they could say the same about me. To tie this back to the beginning quotation, if a true self is real, then surely that would be your consciousness. And the only consciousness we have access to is our own. It's Descartes' Meditations all over again.
Photo album on the counter. Your cheeks were turning red. Used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-sized bed. And your mother's telling stories about you on the t-ball team. You tell me about your past, thinking your future was me. And you were tossing me the car keys. Fuck the patriarchy, keychain on the ground. We were always skipping town. And I was thinking on the drive down, anytime now, he's gonna say it's love. You never called it what it was, till you were dead and gone and buried. The pulse and come back swearing it's the same after 3 months in the grave. And then you wondered where it went to as I reached for you. All I felt was shame, and you held my lifeless frame. And you know it's long gone, and there was nothing else I could do. And I forgot about you long enough to forget why I needed to. 'Cause there we are again in the middle of the night. We're dancing round the kitchen in the refrigerator light. Down the stairs, I was there, I remember it all too well. And there we are again when nobody had to know. You kept me like a secret, but I kept you like an oath. Sacred prayer, and we'd swear to remember it all too well. Yeah.
Okay, so to be honest, I think I'm intellectualizing my emotions. Let me explain. I created this YouTube channel in September 2018, but my first video, simply titled An Introduction, wasn't uploaded until January 4th, 2019. I was 19 years old and taking a gap year between high school and college while making half-hearted attempts at joining the workforce. Now I'm 22 and entering the second semester of my junior year at a private liberal arts college on my way to a bachelor's degree in philosophy. And if all goes according to plan, this video should be uploaded on January 4th, 3 years exactly to the day when my first video was uploaded. It's hard to believe I've maintained off and on, and with admittedly a very limited skill set, a YouTube channel for 3 years. What's even more surprising is how distant I feel from the person in that video. I don't dislike the man in that video. I mean, I was him, so to dislike him would be a symptom of self-loathing. Self-loathing, that's hard to say. I am no stranger to self-loathing, but when watching my old stuff now, self-loathing is hard to muster. After all, what is there to loathe? I was 19. No offense to any 19-year-olds watching, but you don't know much about yourself or about life at that age. If I disagree with my actions or opinions at that age, that is natural, inevitable, and welcome. You're probably not learning and maturing if you have the same opinions at 20 that you did at 15. But when you have the experience of seeing and hearing the collection of atoms that was once you, and barely recognizing yourself, that is something you never forget. You start remembering things you've long since forgotten, as if you're putting together the plot line of a novel piece by piece. You start to think about the circumstances of your birth and upbringing. You start to think about your friends, teachers, acquaintances, and neighbors. You start to think about events that used to bother you, but no longer do, and as well as stuff that makes your stomach churn to this very day. You do all this in a desperate attempt, if you'll pardon the phrase, to answer the question, who am I?
To not be able to answer that question is profoundly terrifying. Perhaps you thought you knew who you were once, and something happened which leaves you reeling with doubt. Perhaps you never knew who you were because you learned from an early age that wearing masks, even several at a time, helps you survive. But wearing masks for prolonged periods of time is a lot like going to war. You may be a great soldier, but civilian life becomes harder and harder the longer you're away from it. You forget the lingo, you forget the subtle social cues. Or maybe you've learned to fake that too, going on autopilot for those conversations, for those parties, for those dinner time discussions and phone calls with family. Maybe I'm distancing myself from painful memories, or maybe I truly have altered in a fundamental way. I like to think there are a lot of similarities between the person I'm watching and myself sitting here right now. And that's why I have a brief statement that I wanted to read directly to that young man. Dear past self. Maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe this thing was a masterpiece till you tore it all up. Running scared, I was there. I remember it all too well. And you call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. I'm a crumbled up piece of paper lying here 'cause I remember it all. They say all's well that ends well, but I'm in a new hell every time. You double-cross my mind. You said if we had been closer in age, maybe it would have been fine. And that idea made me want to die. The idea you had of me, who was she, and never reading every lovely jewel. Shine reflects on you, not weeping in a party bathroom. Some actress asking me what happened. You, that's what happened. You charmed my dad with self-effacing jokes. Sipping coffee like you're on a late night show. Then he watched me watch the front door all night, willing you to come. And he said it's supposed to be fun, turning 21.
I hope this letter finds you well. Try that again. I hope this letter finds you well. I've been thinking a lot about you. All those lonely hours sitting around a spacious apartment. All those hypochondria-induced trips to the ER. The jobs you attempted. The 2 classes you took at a local community college. Just so you had something to do. You were on your own for the first time. You were trying to escape a lot of painful emotions and experiences. But you're a fighter. You panic, you get angry, you've made a rash decision here and there. But you've always found a way to keep going. You could have easily given up at any time and let your demons consume you. But for as long as you can remember, there was a little voice in your head telling you that you had value, that you have talents and virtues to offer the world, that you have a future. I just want to tell you that you indeed do have a future ahead of you. You may feel lost and alone in the world. You may even feel like a failure. But you're not a failure. You're not alone. And everyone has felt lost at some point in their life. But I realize there is nothing more annoying than adults telling you everything's going to be okay. Because that's just happy talk to get you to shut up. I'm not trying to talk down to you. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, let alone 2 years or 10 years from now. I can't say everything will work out. But being 3 years older than you, there are a lot of new experiences awaiting for you. You will start one podcast in 2019 and another in 2021. You will go to a college in New York for about 8 months before a global pandemic sends you home in 2020 and you transfer to a school closer to home. You will experience your first relationship, your first parties. You'll know what it's like to drink at the bars, survive a relatively normal semester with a full load of classes, and write for a school newspaper. Your social skills will improve to the point where you joke about being a minor celebrity on campus. Although, you're still pretty damn awkward. Even your confidence will increase significantly. And that is no small thing, given your history of struggling to trust yourself and recognize the validity of your experience. By most standards, my life is getting better and better every day. But these last few months have been a particularly draining time for me emotionally. I've been engaging in a lot of introspection. I've been thinking intensely about who I want to be. If I could wake up tomorrow and be anybody or anything, what would that be? Now, you can't be just anybody or do just anything. But such questions help you hone in on what matters to you and the practical things you can do in pursuit of those things. And the truth is, I'm a work in progress. I don't have all the answers, and I'm still working out the kind of life I want to live and the kind of person I want to be. I have a few ideas, of course. I want to be the kind of person who knows how to laugh at the world. I want to be the kind of person who never stops learning about the world around him. I want to leave my little corner of the world a better place than I found it. I want to learn a foreign language or two. I want to publish books. Life is a smorgasbord of possibilities, and I'm not expecting an afterlife or reincarnation. So I want to squeeze as much as I can out of the opportunity I've been given. As Richard Dawkins says, we are going to die, and that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never going to die because they are never going to be born. We know this because the set of possible people allowed by our DNA so massively exceeds the set of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying odds, it is you and I, in our ordinariness, that are here. We privileged few who won the lottery of birth against all odds. How dare we whine at our inevitable return to that prior state from which the vast majority have never stirred. I don't know who I will become, but whoever that is, it was you and all the other previous selves that helped me become the person I am now and the person I will be in the future. And for the first time in my life, I can say with complete candidness that I'm learning to be grateful for every day up to this point. Grateful for the bad days. Grateful for the good days. Grateful for the cherished memories. Grateful for the unpleasant memories. Learning is the key word, of course, because I'm still very bad at what Nietzsche termed amor fati, or love of fate. But in the spirit of aiming for this ideal, it is in this moment, the moment when I feel most distant from you, that I want to reach out, reconnect, and clear the air. I love you. Best wishes. That, of course, would be the logical place to end this video, but I have one piece of housekeeping to take care of. You're probably asking yourself, why the hell is Matthew singing the 10-minute version of Taylor Swift's All Too Well? What relevance does that have to this video? I was going to do research into the song and the album and come up with some bullshit post hoc rationalization. But the truth is, I recorded myself singing that song with some classmates a little while ago as a joke. I hadn't planned to use that song in a video. So the short answer is because I can. But the longer answer is I wanted to do something special for my channel's 3-year anniversary. I wanted to push myself and make a video that I normally wouldn't make. And I wanted to include a slideshow with pictures and videos, and slideshows require music. I had that recording taking up space on my laptop, so I figured, why not? It's certainly something I wouldn't normally do. Plus, I'm a Zoomer, and Zoomers are notorious for making fun of themselves on the internet for the views. But on that note, thank you for watching, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 2022.
Time won't fly, it's like I'm paralyzed by it. I'd love to be myself again, but I'm still trying to find it. After plaid shirt days and nights when you made me your own, now you mail me things back and I walk home alone. But you keep my old scarf from that very first week, 'cause it reminds you of innocence and it smells like me. Can't get rid of it, 'cause you remember it all too well. Yeah, 'cause there we are again when I loved you so. Back before you lost the one real thing you've ever known. I was rare, it was there, I remember it all too well. Wind in my hair, you were there, you remember it all. Down the stairs, you were there, you remember it all. It was rare, I was there, you remember it all too well. I was never good at telling jokes, but the punchline goes, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. From where your Brooklyn broke my skin and bones, I'm a soldier who's returning half my weight. I did the twin flames bruise, paint you blue. Just between us did the love affair maim you too. 'Cause in this city's bare and cold, I still remember the first fall of snow, and I know how it glistened as it fell. I remember it all too well. So between us did you love affair maim you all too well. Just between us did you remember it all too well. Just between us, I remember it all too well.